everybody. It's Leslie with the New Mexico Small Business Development Center. I'm here to present Dr. Marvin Lozano. He is going to be giving us a presentation in English and Spanish, bilingual. We are going to be talking today, well, Marvin is going to be talking today about accessing financial resources, how to apply the sustainability in anything that you might need to know about that. If you have any questions, please type it into the Q&A. Thank you.
Buenos dias. Good morning to all of you that are attending this workshop. We're very happy to have it, and we want to make it as user-friendly as possible. So I'll be doing this in English and Spanish for bilingual audiences. Les quiero dar, bueno, bienvenidos a esos que hablan español. Voy a hablar en inglés y español para incluir. No queremos que se siente alguien que no están incluidos, ¿no? Entonces, así es como va a ser la presentación durante este tiempo. Vamos a tomar una hora. Y gracias por participando, okay? Yeah, this is an important workshop, we believe, because we're trying to deliver to you folks in English and Spanish, but the access, how do you access money that the banks have, that alternative lenders have, that SBA has, because we know, at least we read in the paper, that there's a lot of money available through the CARE program. SBA has a lot of resources, and so we'll be talking somewhat about that. The title is Access of Money from Banks, Alternative Lenders, and SBA. La presentación pues es accesando, ¿cómo se puede accesar dinero de los bancos, prestamistas, alternativos y el SBA? Acuérdense que esto es más de llenar una solicitud. Les quiero enseñar cómo pueden ganar el dinero que necesitan, ¿ok? Next. Entonces, en español, es la idea que les queremos decir que el SBDC ofrece muchos diferentes talleres, vamos a decir, y también clases que pueden participar para aprender y pueden recibir asistencia. So I was saying in Spanish is that go to your SBDC. They're located throughout New Mexico, and they're very helpful in providing counseling services to small businesses. They don't charge you at all. This is a service that's there for you to take advantage, and they can explain a lot of the SBA programs that are out there. I'm going to try and make it easier for you in how you can prepare, okay? So next. Entonces ya oyeron los objetivos de este entrenamiento. Es para ayudarles mejor prepararse para llenar la solicitud, pero también para estar preparados cuando van a conseguir ese dinero que necesitan para su negocio. So again, the objective, I've sort of been weaving it in as we've begun this presentation, right? It's to help you access the funding you may need from banks, alternative lenders, and through the SBA. So this is more than filling out an application. There's a whole process that you want to go through to get your best foot forward and get what you need. And that's what I'm here to try to help you with. As a former banker, I was with Wells Fargo as a commercial loan officer for many years. I taught at CNM as the lead instructor in entrepreneurship for many, many, many years. And now I'm an independent entrepreneurial consultant that I actually am on contract with various lenders in the community. Next. Bueno, entonces, remember, English and Spanish. We'll start this in Spanish, okay? Bilingually. Resumen de la presentación, van a ser 3 partes que les quiero ayudar. Es accesando, ¿cómo acceso al capital que necesito? Piénsenlo de esa forma. Número 2, ¿cómo puedo sostener mi negocio? ¿Cómo lo puedo crecer? y cómo me resilienciando, ¿no? Quedando ahí para que siga con mi negocio. No nos ayuda a conseguir dinero y luego no crecer y continuar con un negocio de buena salud, ¿no? Y número 3 es solicitar recursos financieros. Ya para el último les voy a enseñar cómo pueden ir al website del SBA para ver cómo pueden solicitar la ayuda del CARES Act ahorita, okay? So what I was saying in Spanish is this is basically 3 areas that I want to focus on to help you all. We want to keep it simple, straightforward, and helpful, okay? So the first major area is accessing capital, okay? So I'll go through some information that based on my experience as a lender, this is what we would always look for those folks that are coming in for a business loan. And currently, as I do independent work, the criteria seems to be the same, okay? Secondly, we'll talk about how do you sustain your business, how do you grow it, and how are you resilient in doing what? In bouncing, being flexible, not necessarily bouncing, but being flexible with all the pressures that you have as a small business. And now with COVID-19, you have that to deal with, right? Because we want you to have access to capital, but we want you to understand how you can continue to be a healthy business that continues to grow and is resilient. And then number 3 is I'll give you some information on who you can apply for financial help and some of the subtle differences between what they're doing, because what I don't want to do and what we don't want you to do is to go in a circle trying to get what you need and not knowing where to go. Okay, so that's how we're going to help you. Okay, next. Okay, so the first concept, you see the Roman numeral 1, el primer concepto, ven que es el más grande, ¿no? En lo que estoy presentando aquí, es conceptos básicos de acceso a capital. So I'll be talking about what? Basic concepts for accessing capital. Next. Bueno, ¿qué son los conceptos básicos? Y como banquero y como consultor de negocios pequeños que quieren préstamos hoy día, yo trabajo con muchos. Estaba diciéndole a Leslie que ayer, antes de empezar la presentación, ¿no? Le estaba explicando que ayer me junté con un señor que, bueno, él tiene necesidad de abrir una locación nueva y tiene necesidad de un préstamo bastante grande y le vamos a ayudar, ¿no? Yo estoy preparando cómo van a ser los préstamos y me junté con él porque son 3 préstamos. El segundo va a tener el interés al tipo del SBA y ese tipo es preferible porque ahorita con COVID bajaron los intereses. En ese préstamo es muy importante, ¿no? Tener un tipo bajo por las condiciones que tenemos. Entonces, ahí ven que número 4 son las condiciones. Voy a empezar con 4 porque son condiciones de COVID-19 que estamos tratando de trabajar con eso, ¿no? Número 1 es crédito. ¿Cómo es su crédito? Ustedes mismos pueden revisar su crédito antes de ir a pedir un préstamo, ¿no? Porque aunque dice la información en el periódico que no tiene que pagar el dinero, porque es como le dicen en inglés grant, el crédito tiene valor porque si convierten ese grant a un préstamo, lo tiene que pagar. Entonces tienen que entender cómo trabaja esta cosa. Número 2 es flujo de efectivo. Va a hablar de cómo pueden proyectar sus ventas unos 6 meses para ir a presentarse que, mira, yo sé lo que ando haciendo en mi negocio. Aquí están mis ventas proyectadas. Okay, aquí están los gastos proyectados. Sí le puedo pagar, si tengo que pagar. ¿Qué es la garantía? Igual como cuando usted quiere algo, tiene que ofrecer algo. Entonces, se tenga en la mente qué va a ofrecer de garantía en su préstamo. Okay, piénselo bien para llegar preparado, ¿no? So, what I've been saying in Spanish is basically these are your four, right? Conditions that your commercial lenders, your business lenders are taught to be very good at in analyzing any loan. It doesn't matter what kind of loan they look at, if it's a loan, And it's important to recognize this, that yes, there are grants available. We read in the paper. I'll show you a website for SBA in the latter part of this presentation where you can go. But you'll also, if you read carefully, in many cases, the grant converts to a loan if you do not comply with what the requisites are of that particular loan. So it's important you also be aware of what we call cash flow, because you want to do some analysis on your own before you go to any lender and say, you know what, this is what my income is going to be in the next 6 months, the business sales. This is what the business expenses I project will be. And now I need to include a possible loan payment. What's it going to do to my business? Can I really operate this way? Okay, so this is for you so that you're better prepared. Call it doing your homework, okay? And you'll be better prepared to get what you want. Okay, the third thing is collateral. And the way I usually explain this to folks, and I taught for many, many years at CNM. I had small businesses, owners that would come and participate in the entrepreneurial classes that I taught. And I would say, look, think of it this way. If you want something from a lender, if you want something from someone, they want something in return. Want you to have good credit? Yes. Want you to have good cash flow? Yes. But what is it? What is the tangible asset you're putting up to offset my risk as the lender? Okay. So understand that it's more than, sometimes I would hear someone say to me, hey, but I have sweat equity, right? I have sweat equity defined as I've been working in the business. I've been going out and doing research. I've been talking to vendors. I've been looking at equipment. Doesn't that count? And my answer is yes, it counts. But in this case, collateral is defined as something tangible. Do you have a car with equity, a house, piece of land, an apartment, equipment that you use in the business that's paid for, that sort of thing. And then conditions is obviously, we are in a pandemic time. We are all looking forward to things getting better, and I think they are. We know that in New Mexico, while things are starting to open, I always want to read my newspaper sources in the morning. And this morning, I noticed that New Mexico is doing really well. You know, we're starting to open up, and businesses are more actively, if they're a location like a restaurant, right? They're being able to allow more people to come in, maybe not at full capacity, but come in, you know, and when you eat, you take off your mask. But, you know, if you're a restaurant, this matters, right? And if you're another business, it matters too, because you may have overlap with a restaurant. You may be selling to a restaurant, right? And so all this matters. So these are the 4 things, just to recap. 4 basic things. If you keep these in mind, okay, it'll make your life a lot easier when you go to get something that you want from someone who's in the money business, okay? So remember, credit, cash flow, collateral, conditions. 4 C's, and it'll help you a lot. Next. Bueno, entonces, con esa idea, estimación antes de iniciar, or pre-startup estimate for my English speakers, right? Pre-startup estimate. Ven en el lado 5 puntos que deben de poner, y lo pueden poner en un pedazo de papel en blanco, ¿no? No tiene que ser algo formal. You can do this on a blank sheet of paper, okay? The idea is to do some sort of estimate as to what the money is that you want, right? But you need to do more than that. So we're backing up a step and saying, you know, on here, you're going to do the idea of these 5 things that I'll list, and I'll do them in Spanish, then I'll come back to English, okay? Entonces, número 1, el punto número 1 es dinero disponible a la mano. Cuando van a solicitar algo de alguien que hace préstamo, ellos mismos quieren saber qué tiene usted en su cuenta, okay? ¿Qué tiene en su cuenta de cheques? Okay, antes de que nosotros le ayudemos. So what I'm saying here is the first bullet is, you know, before you go ask or apply, better said, I suppose, apply for financial help, assistance, if you will, you know, be clear on the cash you have on hand. Someone in the position of filling out an application will ask you, well, what is your balance in your checking account? what is the balance in your savings account? Because they're trying to get a grasp on what you have available so they can help you out with your application. Punto 2 es presta. Si ya conseguiste un o un préstamo, decimos en el negocio de préstamos, ¿no? Decimos préstamos. Si ya tiene un préstamo, entonces pónganlo aquí. Es posible que ya tienes un préstamo, pero necesitas más ayuda. Lo que es mejor es decirle, prepararte, acuérdense, apunten en el papel, dinero disponible a la mano, presta, ¿ok? Si ya tengo un préstamo. So what I'm saying in Spanish is that second bullet is loan. Now, understand, you might be thinking, well, why am I going to put down loan if I don't have a loan yet? What this refers to is what kind of loan, if you have one, do you already have in place? Maybe you've already gone to a lender and you've gotten a small loan, okay? So be transparent, put it down so that the individual, or when you're getting help, or when you are filling out an application, you're being what I call transparent, and it's real clear. This doesn't mean you can't get additional help. It simply means you're showing that what you have right now may not be sufficient, but you do have some help, right? You have some kind of loan in place. And so that's what you do there. You may have a line of credit. So I'll do this in Spanish and come back, but be thinking about that. What is a line of credit? Línea de crédito es casi igual que un préstamo, es punto 3. ¿Okay? Entonces, línea de crédito piénsenlo como una tarjeta de crédito. Cuando llevas tu Visa o si vas en años pasados tu Mastercard, ¿no? Pero casi todo el mundo usa Visa. Lleva tu Visa, ok, y la usas para comprar algo. Pero línea de crédito es para negocios. Es una forma de préstamo que tú tienes disponible ustedes para utilizar cuando necesita el dinero. So what I was saying in Spanish is line of credit. Think of it the way you would that you have an approved amount of money, but you don't access it until you need to use it. Very similar in concept to a credit card, right? You get, let's say, your Visa, you get a certain amount approved, and you've got it. And then when you use it, you can access it and, charge what you want. The difference is a business line of credit, the interest is a lot lower, and it is for business purposes. But you apply for it and you have it available. So be able to distinguish between loan and line of credit because they have different uses. I worked with an individual, it must have been 2 or 3 weeks ago, that said, I'm looking for what he calls a tractor, and the kind of tractor that pulls a big trailer to deliver goods, right? And so they call these huge tractors because they're so big. And he says, but I haven't found it yet. So I'm looking around and I want to have some money available. So when I see it, I don't have to go apply. I've already am approved. So we helped him, and I helped him get this line of credit at a very good rate. In fact, it was one of the low COVID programs that's out there. And the rate of interest was 3.75%, very attractive, okay? And he's now got that, but he should be showing that. Let's say now he decides, hey, I want to go, and because maybe I also own a little restaurant, and there's a lot of money for restaurants through the CARES Act that you'll see is available on SBA.gov. Okay, I'll kind of introduce that idea right now, but the thing is here you show before you begin what you have, okay, and then it's clear to those individuals trying to help you. Otro dinero aquí es si tienes dinero que la familia te está ayudando o te hicieron un préstamo ellos mismos, aquí puedes poner, acuérdate, es para enseñar lo que tienes antes de, si es negocio nuevo, por eso tengo antes de iniciar, entonces quieres enseñar, es posible que tienes dinero para para comprar equipo y otros gastos de operar, pero vas a necesitar más dinero, ¿no? Entonces aquí es donde lo pones. Si ya tienes negocio, pero vas a hacer otro proyecto, aquí es donde lo pones. So what I'm saying in Spanish, what I was saying is the last bullet really is other cash. And here again, with the idea of being transparent, if you are a startup, you may have gotten some kind of help, let's say money from family or a friend, and you put it in the form of a note, a promissory note, which I always encourage you to do because it'll keep, believe me, over many, many years, I've seen businesses that do it both ways. Those that say, my word is I'll pay you back. And unfortunately, sometimes, folks have differences and then there's a falling out because nothing was in writing. So I always encourage you, if you get some kind of help in money form from a family member or a friend, create a basic promissory note that says, this is how much you lent me, this is our agreement, this is the interest rate, these are the monthly payments, and I'll pay you back each month, and this is the due date on this thing. Okay, so again, to prepare you, you can do a basic estimate here. Don't have to get real fancy. If you're good with Excel, do it on Excel, on your computer. But all I need to know, or what the person that's helping you needs to know, is what do you have before we start trying to get you more money? Okay, next. Bueno, entonces aquí la idea es efectivo pagar. Entonces, es que ya ha pagado usted. Igual como de lo que estábamos hablando, es preparar qué es lo que ya tiene disponible, ¿no? En forma de efectivo. Pero aquí lo que estamos diciendo, que ya ha pagado usted. Es posible que tenía compras de mercancía, de capital, de sanitarios, como ahorita andamos en COVID, de renta, de depositar renta. Si está empezando un negocio, es posible que ya gastó dinero, ¿no? Entonces, en la página esa, como le dije, en la segunda parte, efectivo pagar, ¿ok? ¿Qué ha pagado usted, ok? Ya antes de solicitar ayuda para otro préstamo. So what I'm saying here is that just like in the previous slide, you put the money resources available to you, okay? Here, what you're saying is what you've paid out. Now, this typically applies, because I talk with folks and I don't know if you're a startup or an existing business. Applies both ways. You're a startup, here the idea is keep track of the money that you've paid out, keep those receipts. Keep track of the money you've paid out already so that before you get additional help, you can show whomever you're going to apply to, did you have purchases for merchandise? Be able to show the total amount. Did you have some equipment? Capital here, capital purchase is thought of as equipment, okay, machinery. It might be, also real estate. I just don't know, but neither does the individual you're going to unless you show what you've already spent, okay? Next is cleaning supplies. It may be that you have nothing to do with COVID cleaning supplies, but I've gone in different businesses and I have seen how creative, entrepreneurial, let's say, many of those businesses are. They may show that they have, in fact, spent money on sanitary supplies. Okay, and if they have, then this is where you put it. If that's you. If not, you want to put other expenses that you paid out. Might be rent, maybe telephone. Okay. So next. So here is your cash flow. Aquí está el flujo de efectivo de lo que estaba hablando. Acuérdense en español y luego en inglés. ¿Ok? Entonces, Leslie, do we have a question? Maybe I should. No, nada. Ok. Entonces, la idea aquí es el flujo de efectivo en español, and then I'll do this in English. Bueno, yo puse enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo y junio, pero ustedes pueden poner los meses que quieran. Puedes poner que, mira, ya pasó enero, el primer mes de lo que yo proyectar yo va a ser empezando en ¿qué? En junio o en julio. Si es una empresa que está empezando, ponga el mes primero y luego proyecta otros 6 meses. ¿Ok? En la mano, la mano de ustedes, que es la mano derecha, es efectivo en caja. ¿Qué es lo que ya tiene el primer mes? ¿Ok? Que va a operar en el banco, en su cuenta de cheques. Y luego, ¿qué proyecta usted que va a recibir? En ventas, ventas de vender cosas, ¿no? En efectivo, si va a vender efectivo. Punto 2 es colecciones de cuentas por cobrar. Si usted tiene un negocio donde vende y le pagan en 30 días, 45 días, 50 días, aquí es donde pone lo que espera recibir. Pero lo está proyectando. Si hace la venta en, vamos a decir aquí en enero, pero no va a recibir el dinero hasta marzo, entonces ese dinero en ese punto lo pone en marzo. Acuérdense, es flujo de efectivo, ¿ok? Y luego línea de crédito, si tiene esa línea de crédito o préstamo, ¿qué es la cantidad que tiene que pagar cada mes? Aquí es, acuérdense, es lo que está pagando, ¿ok? Aquí, o lo que está recibiendo, perdón, es recibos de efectivo. Entonces, préstamo, aquí pone lo que va a recibir. Si es un préstamo y reciben el total del préstamo el primer mes, aquí es enero, pone el total. Pero si va a recibir como línea de crédito, es posible que va a recibir parte en enero, parte en marzo, parte en mayo, lo pone ahí también. Y entonces aquí tiene y también otro efectivo para tener un total, lo que va a tener cuando. En los 6 meses del futuro. So what I was saying here is that this is an opportunity for you, and I would highly recommend it because I know as a lender, this is one of the things I was taught early on, especially with startups, is since you startups don't have a history, right, that you can show a lender, you really don't have it because you haven't started yet, but you can project out. Okay, I think I see a question here.
We do have a question, and I also put it in the chat for you. You can either click on the question or the chat.
Okay, I got the question. Okay, I'm going to read it and then answer it, okay? Hola, mi empresa está registrada en Nuevo México. Okay, so this reads, hola, mi empresa está registrada en Nuevo México, Estados Unidos y vivo en España. ¿Puedo optar por el préstamo? ¿Quién me puede ayudar? Vendemos nuestros productos en Amazon, Europa, y ahora queremos vender en Estados Unidos. Ok, bueno, esta es buena pregunta. Yo trabajé en el banco. Cuando estaba en el banco, estuve unos 6 años en préstamos internacionales. Entonces, la cosa que le quiero decir, si está interesado en una forma de un préstamo, entonces lo que le recomiendo es, como es internacional, ¿no? En Nuevo México, hable con los representantes del SBA. El SBA es el SBA y SBA.gov. ¿Ok? SBA.gov, ¿ok? Y ahí le pueden recomendar quién le puede ayudar con un préstamo si es el tipo internacional. Es buena cosa que está registrado en Nuevo México, ¿ok? En los Estados Unidos. Y eso me parece que está haciendo negocio en los Estados Unidos, entonces, bueno. What I was saying in English was that the individual's asking a question. He's apparently in Spain. He lives in Spain, but he does have his business registered in the US. Who can help him? And what I'm saying is that this is a good opportunity to make contact with the Small Business Administration, okay? And make a contact with their office here in New Mexico, so that's where you're registered, and ask for someone to help you there and explain to them you're in an international business. That would be my recommendation. Okay. Moving on. I think we were done with this slide. Espero que hayamos terminado con esta. Entonces, algo nomás para, aquí les quiero, en español es no ames lo que eres, sino lo que puedes llegar a ser. In English, it's do not love what you are, but what you can become. Okay, Miguel de Cervantes is the writer who I quoted from on this. I'll just say briefly in Spanish and then in English what I'm trying to get to here. Lo que quiero decir en español es que como emprendedor, como alguien que tiene negocio, piense lo que estoy tirando, ¿no? Le estoy tirando un objetivo. Entonces, quiero pensar de forma de dónde quiero llegar, qué es lo que quiero ser. Okay, los negocios que ya tienen buen éxito, lo que sabemos es que piensan y ponen un plan, el plan de negocio, ¿ok? Y así pueden preparar y cada punto, vamos a decir cada 3 meses pueden ver, ya llegué donde quiero hacer, en 6 meses, ya llegué donde quiero hacer, en 9 meses, en 1 año, y así puedes ver cómo si estás llegando o no, ¿ok? Es importante ver y pensar de esa forma. So what I was saying in Spanish is what I mean by this quote is of course you want to like yourself, right? But we want to think forward as an entrepreneur, as a small business, whether you're starting or whether you're already in business, what can you become? And the only way that you can really do that is project out, right, some form of business plan. This is where your small business development centers are very helpful. Their advisors are very skilled in helping with business plans. From a lending perspective, what I can share with you, my experience is the lenders want very basic information for a business plan. Remember those 4 things I shared with you early on? What's the model? What's my credit? Okay. What's my cash flow? Okay. What's my collateral? Okay. And what was the 4th one? What are the conditions? En español, ¿qué eran las 4 cosas donde puedo yo hacer mi plan cuando escribo mi plan? Piénselo de esta forma, ¿ok? ¿Qué es en mi plan? ¿Tengo buen crédito o no? Si no, ¿por qué no tengo buen crédito? Hay que explicarlo en un plan, ¿no? Para explicarle a la gente que está viendo lo que quiere obtener usted. Número 2, ¿qué es el efectivo? ¿Cómo va a pagar lo que quiere hacer? ¿Ok? En el plan hay que incluir. Lo que veo, muchos planes no incluyen un proyecto. Y es una lástima, porque como banquero, como gente que hace préstamos, ellos quieren saber cómo se va a pagar lo que quiere usted. ¿Cómo lo va a pagar? ¿Ok? Si tiene efectivo o no. Número 3, ¿qué es la garantía? Y 4, las condiciones. ¿Ok? Muy importante, esas 4 cosas. El crédito, ¿ok? Es el flujo de efectivo, qué es tu garantía y qué son las condiciones. Hay que incluir eso en el plan de negocio que vas a hacer. ¿Ok? En breve, ¿qué son esas cosas? Next. Next. Ok, el concepto número 2. Aquí lo que estamos hablando es la segunda mayor parte de esta presentación. Okay, so here's the second part of what I'm speaking to today, and that's that you want to think about business sustainability. Okay, so folks that are in the process of providing money for you to start or to grow your business want to know what your plans are once you have that money. Can you sustain your business? Can you grow it? So here are some of the things you can do, okay, to communicate to them what you're trying to do. Aquí la idea es más de conseguir los fondos que necesito para mi negocio. Es cómo voy a sostener lo que estoy haciendo, ¿no? Entonces, aquí vamos a hacerlo en español primero y luego en inglés. I'm going to do this in Spanish and then in English. So bear with me here. Número 1, no necesito una idea completa nueva para empezar un negocio. No es la idea que sea completa nueva. Muchos emprendedores piensan, tengo que tener una idea que nadie más tiene. Y lo que sabemos en los estudios es que la idea no tiene que ser nueva. Es que ser una idea que usted tenga algo de experiencia y que esté claro en su mente cómo va a tener buen éxito. So here what I was saying is, number one is you don't need a whole idea to start a business, and that's absolutely true. I know of many small businesses, startups that started doing what is already being done by many other businesses in the community. But what they have that makes them successful is they have good experience going in, okay? They've been able, they understand the business, they know how to operate it, okay, and make it work. And that's very important, okay? So it doesn't have to be a new idea, but be clear, and then be clear on how you can communicate and how you can go after that market that you need to have to make this business work. Okay, and again, I go back to the idea of a business plan, because it is very important that I share with you that it be clear, solicit help if you're not clear on how to write one of these things, but it's not a long plan you need. You need to have something that's clear and addresses the important things that the individuals that are providing you the money in whatever program you apply for, what they want to hear from you, okay? So be prepared. Número dos, no necesito mucho dinero para empezar negocio. Tiene mucha razón aquí. Yo hablo con gente que vienen y me dicen, ¿sabes qué? Yo no puedo empezar porque yo, como soy consultor, también me dicen, quiero empezar un negocio. Este es el tipo de negocio. Pero me dicen entonces, pero no tengo dinero. Y yo les digo, mira, ¿qué es tu idea? La importante cosa es tener la idea, estudiar tu idea, busca ver si hay mercado y luego, aparte de eso, entonces empieza pequeño. Busca ver si alguien va a comprar tu producto o tu servicio. Y como vas creciendo, entonces entra la necesidad de dinero. Entonces, puedes buscar préstamos. So what I was saying in Spanish is that, no, you don't need a lot of money to start a business. I think in working with small businesses and with my banking and experience, what I would find many times, and I continue to see, is folks almost convince themselves by themselves that they don't have money to start a business, rather than think through what their idea is. So it's not so much that you need a lot of money, it's, are you clear on your idea? Do you have the experience and the drive to make this idea go? Because this is going to take a lot of work. Okay, so try to get your head, if you will, understand that in your head, money's part of it, but it's not the complete answer, okay? So that's what you want to do here, okay? Number 3, en español. Use lo que ya sabe de su experiencia o entrenamiento. Sí, es lo que empecé a decir en número 2, es que ha hecho usted que puede decir, mira, yo ya sé cómo hacer este negocio, no hay problema, yo voy a usar mi experiencia y mi entrenamiento para tener buen éxito. Eso es importante porque la gente que está en el juego de dinero o hace préstamos, vamos a decir mejor préstamos, ¿no? Porque el juego de dinero no suena bien. Pero que hace préstamos, esa gente quiere saber, ¿sabes lo que vas a hacer? ¿Tienes entrenamiento? Okay, it's important. So what I'm saying here is, it's important that you convey, as you go talk to someone about funds, what your experience is in that type of business. It will definitely help you, as well as any training you may have, because folks want to know that you're going to succeed. Folks that are in the lending game or in the grant game, they don't just want to be able to put the money out. They want to make sure that it's used wisely. And if you can share that you know what you're doing, that matters. That goes towards sustainability of the business, okay? Número 4. No necesito un plan de negocio de 20 páginas. Es muy claro en mi mente, ¿no? Pero muchas veces leemos en los libros que hay que escribir algo de 20 páginas o de 25 páginas. Y yo les digo, por mi parte, para alguien que quiere préstamos, no se necesita un plan de ese largo. Okay? Un plan de 2 o 3 páginas y que tenga impacto en las proyecciones, ese sí tiene valor. So what I'm saying here is, you don't need a 20-page business plan. You need a plan that's easy to read, that's well understood. If you're a startup business, yes, it will have projections in it, but make sure that you do something beyond just generating numbers. In the banking business, we had a saying, when we would just see somebody that generated numbers like an Excel spreadsheet, we would say, this is all blue sky, right? And blue sky would mean that somebody sees all the beauty and the prettiness of this, but we know business isn't that easy. So, you know, they haven't thought this through, you know? So be clear that if you do projections, you want to state my assumptions for this projection for these sales is this. My assumption for the expenses is this, you know, and this is how we're going to, I just completed a small business plan helping a business that opened a second location for a very successful business in New Mexico. Second location they needed. And so it's really interesting because we used 3 years of historical numbers of sales, of expenses, and then I helped them project out the next, 2 years. And so we said, why can he do what he's saying he's going to do the next 2 years? Well, because he's already been doing it for the past 2 years. It's just a matter of growing the business. Okay, so that's important to understand. Okay, be clear and address the money side of how you're going to pay back whatever money you intend to borrow. Número 5, no necesito comprar o rentar un edificio para empezar un negocio. Si les pudiera decir, esto es muy importante. Muchas veces yo hablo con gente y vienen y me dicen, ¿sabes qué, doctor Lozano? Quiero comprar un edificio, pero apenas empecé. Y entonces mi respuesta es, ¿para qué vas a comprar edificio si puedes rentar? Porque la importancia aquí, y especialmente para alguien que hace préstamos, es que quiero saber si tu negocio va a tener sostenibilidad. No quiero saber si vas a invertir en un edificio. Ya después de años que tienes buen éxito, entonces piensa empezar de edificio. So what I was saying here is be clear. Again, if you're a startup, renting may be your best option. Or if you have an existing building, you've addressed that already. But too often I have folks that have come to me and said, hey, you know, Dr. Lozano, I'm starting this business and the majority of the money is going to go to buy a building. And I say, you know, so let me understand this. You want to borrow money and you want to put most of it in the building. And what if your business doesn't succeed? Then you've put all your money in a building or a good chunk of it, and it hasn't helped you. Think rather than putting money into buying a building as putting money into operating the business so that you have money for operating expenses. Later, when you're very successful, then you can think of buying a building. Okay, next. El crecimiento, aquí en breve, ¿no? Porque no me quiero atrasar en la presentación, es crecimiento. So I'm going to talk about these 3 points, which is directed at growth. Okay, so this is what I call using an entrepreneurial mindset. There's a lot of literature out on the entrepreneurial mindset. Just Google it, and you will find very progressive ideas. But this goes to the idea that, so you access the money, so you stay healthy. You want to also think of how you're going to grow, okay? How you use that money to grow. Okay, 3 points in English, in Spanish and in English. Okay, número uno, evaluar si está bien preparado para ser un emprendedor. Si yo siempre me tengo que preguntar, ¿estoy preparado o no? Es posible que yo tengo que tomar clases o yo tengo que ir a trabajar con alguien que ya es emprendedor y voy a aprender de esa persona cómo operar mi negocio. Es muy importante. So what I'm saying here in Spanish is assess whether you are well prepared to be an entrepreneur. There are many, a lot of information on the mindset, entrepreneurial mindset online. You can Google it, and a lot of it will come up on YouTube, and they're very good trainings. But here it's a self-assessment because it's not easy to be, and you got to ask yourself, am I well prepared for the long haul? Am I willing to give up birthday parties? Am I willing to give up celebrations that the family may have? Or at least until I'm up and running and doing well, okay? Número 2, refleje en sus actitudes al dinero y prosperidad. Aquí la cosa es, piense cómo usa su dinero. Yo le digo a mucha gente, mira, si yo pienso que tengo este dinero, ahora lo voy a ir a gastar, porque sabes que quiero ese bonito carro que digo, quiero ir a oír los mariachis, quiero gastar el dinero. Piénsenlo, porque acuérdense que su negocio es como un niño, lo tiene que cuidar y piense dónde están sus actitudes. So here what I was saying is reflect on your attitudes to money and prosperity. It's not just getting the money you need, the funds you need, but how are you going to manage it? This is a management issue. Think of what your attitudes are towards money means that, hey, I've got a budget. I'm going to use this in this way. I'm not going to pull from it in case that I see this this event. You know, I've really been wanting to go to this concert, or I really want to take my uh, a friend of mine or a family member out to dinner, but the money's not for that. Then you need to be what? You need to be frugal and you need to be wise in how you manage the money so that you can prosper. Número tres, familiarse con la mentalidad emprendedor, empresarial. Ok, mucho de lo que ya estuvimos hablando, que es mi mentalidad y estoy pensando como si el negocio es un niño y lo tengo que cuidar. So here I'm saying get familiar with the entrepreneurial mindset that's out there that folks that are already in business use, and then how can you use their good practices to help you. Okay, so that's what we mean by mindset. Okay, where am I? Because I don't want to get the money that I need. And remember, I'm going to emphasize this, just because you maybe get a grant, be clear, because some of the money that's out there in grant form, you may need to pay back if you don't comply with the requisites of that grant. If the grant says you have to maintain these requisites, understand that once you get that money, if you don't maintain some of them, you may wind up paying that money back. And so it converts to a loan. And so just know what you're doing. Have that good management mindset. Okay, next. Aquí esa es la cosa, es nuestra más grande debilidad es darnos por vencidos. La manera más segura de triunfar es siempre intentar una vez más. So here our greatest weakness is giving up. The surest way to succeed is always try one more time. Thomas Edison. La idea aquí es que no se den por vencidos. Esto es difícil. Empezar un negocio es algo muy difícil. Tener buen éxito en un negocio que ya existe es difícil. Pero no se vencen. Délenle, como decíamos en la frontera, yo trabajé con un centro comercial muchos años y con los muchos que trabajaba, no se decían, ándale pues, el segundo día veo que van a poner mejor las 10. El segundo día voy a tratar de trabajar más fuerte. So think of it that way. So our greatest weakness is in giving up, and that's very true. Okay, and I quoted Thomas Edison because we all know Thomas Edison, right? He's very famous, and look, if he would have quit, imagine where the world would be today. But the surest way to succeed is always try one more time. So life is full of challenges. Just accept them. Use that mindset I spoke of in the previous slide to keep your dream in play, keep going forward. Next. Ok, tres. Este es algo muy importante. Creo que mucha gente está interesado en cómo y con quién voy si quiero una forma de ayuda de fondos de dinero, ¿no? Para mi negocio. Existen bancos, cooperativas de crédito, prestamistas alternativos y SBA. Okay. What is out there right now is in form of where do I go to get some financial help, right? Who are some of the decision makers in terms of funding? Banks, traditional banks, they continue, excuse me, to be very active in the lending area. Credit unions have become very much like banks. They do business loans. There was a time when they did not do business loans. Alternative lenders, that's folks that are out there, and lots of them are community-based lenders. You can find out who they are by going to the SBA.gov website, and they can help you understand who they are so you can select who best makes sense for you. And then, of course, the SBA is out there, and I'll share some information where you can go in just a bit. So remembering that, present your idea, your need to them by doing the things I spoke of in Roman numeral 1 and 2 to be prepared for going to these folks. Next. Bueno, los bancos y algunas uniones de crédito en Nuevo México tienen el programa Paycheck Protections Program. Este programa existe en dos partes. Es posible que participó en la primera parte o quiere participar en la segunda parte. El segunda parte va a terminar, yo entendí, el fin de mayo. Entonces hay que prepararse para utilizarlo si quieren. Y ahorita les digo dónde pueden ir para conseguir más información acerca de esto. Pero si ya tienen un banco donde tienen su cuenta de cheques, o si tienen una cuenta con una credit union, unión de crédito, vayan con ellos. Para eso existen. Pregúntenles si tienen el programa y cómo puede participar usted. ¿Ok? Next. Ok, en español, en Spanish, en English. Prestamistas alternativos, alternative community lenders. Estos alternativos pueden aprender quiénes son y son por muchas, existen en Nuevo México para asistirle a negocios donde no pueden conseguir préstamos de los bancos. Y muchas veces los bancos y los credit unions trabajan con ellos. Entonces pueden aprender quiénes son cuando va con, háganle Google a sba.gov y ahí puede ver quiénes son, ¿ok? Y pueden entonces decidir si quieren ir con ellos. Ellos tienen préstamos o líneas de crédito a un preferible tipo de interés. Ahorita es 3.75, muy buen interés. Tienen préstamos de 50,000 y menos. Y también tienen préstamos que son más de eso, ¿ok? Depende de lo que necesita usted. Y luego hay un programa del SBA que le dicen 504. Ese pueden aprender más preguntándole a su banco o a la SBA si participan ellos. Muchas veces es para los préstamos mucho más grandes, ¿ok? Next. Bueno, aquí les voy a enseñar el website del SBA para que vean y lo tienen en español también y pueden ver información. Here I'm going to ask you, in English you can go to sba.gov. En español, sba.gov/español. Okay. Leslie, would you open that?
Yeah, I think I have it on this page right here.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Bueno, lo que viene hay opciones de asistencia por COVID-19. Si ven ustedes, esta página es muy importante porque esta página aquí le va a decir, that was good, Leslie, where you had it. Pueden ver los programas de préstamos. Lo ven ahí que tiene préstamos 7A, préstamos 504, 7A, microcréditos, todos son préstamos. En el medio tienen el Centro para la Recuperación, préstamos por daños. Entonces, lo que les quería enseñar es que ustedes mismos deben de ir a este website de SBA para ver y leer los detalles, ¿okay? De la asistencia para COVID-19 que está ahí. Thank you, Leslie. Next. Okay, and then open this one. Okay, so here we have in Spanish, but you English speakers can go to sba.gov and find the information. In Spanish is shown here as Fondo de Revitalización de Restaurantes. So it's a very important program that's getting a lot of news currently, and it's funding for revitalization of restaurants. But I wanted to show in Spanish for our Spanish speakers know they can go to this website and learn about the programs that are out there. This is a program that's real important. So I'll say it in Spanish first, and then I'll say it in English, okay? But Just hang with me, even though it's in Spanish. If you don't read Spanish, don't worry about it. I'll explain what's happening, okay? En español les quería enseñar es que este es un programa muy importante. Resulta que salió en fines de abril. Pero existe para asistir gente que tiene un restaurante. Entonces es importante, si ven ahí en el primer, tienen contenidos, hay detalles del programa, documentos suplementarios. Hay que ir a leer eso si tiene un restaurante para saber cómo puede aplicar para ese negocio. Si usted en el negocio es muy importante los primeros 21 días, entonces vayan y busquen a ver, lean a ver si es algo que pueden utilizar para su negocio, si tienen restaurante, okay? So what I was saying is this is that program we heard from, it was in the news quite recently, where SBA is providing funding programs to the CARES Act for folks that have restaurants. And so it's very important program because it is out there to help you sustain your restaurant. And you can go to restaurants.sba.gov. Again, restaurants.sba.gov to submit your application, or you can just go to sba.gov. But again, this is in Spanish because SBA does it in English and Spanish, okay? En español aquí está para que ustedes puedan ver dónde pueden ir a leer. Lo que está enseñando Leslie, ahí ven detalles del programa. Les van a explicar específicamente cómo pueden utilizar el fondo de revitalización de restaurantes y cómo pueden a ver si les va a ayudar, ¿ok? Entonces, eso es muy importante. Thank you, Leslie. Next. Bueno, ahí están un poquito los detalles. Here are in English and in Spanish, but it's basically what I shared with you already, that it is American Rescue Plan Act. That I should be clear, it's the American Rescue Plan Act. It was established by the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. And there's a lot of money out there. You can get up to $10 million per business. You have to be, of course, to make it clear on your application that it's money you need and how you would use it. But you've got a lot of time to repay it if you know, that becomes your situation. But go and read about it. Aquí están los detalles. Ya hablamos de esos los detalles para el fondo de retiración. Hasta 10 millones de dólares son disponibles, aunque no necesita tanto. Busque a ver si es un programa para usted. Next. Okay, Leslie, I think that would do it. Just some references, and one last thing is para decirles aquí, vayan con el SBDC, SBDC Nuevo México. Las oficinas existen, hay 19 oficinas en el estado que les ayuden con su plan de negocio, que ayuden a hacer solicitud para ayuda, hace mucho más, okay? So I was saying, talk to your SBC directors, advisors. There are offices throughout the state of New Mexico, and they can help you with that business plan. They can help you with identifying the best option for a loan and direct you where to go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Preguntas y respuestas. Questions?
I do not see any questions. If anyone wants to raise their hand, I can allow you to speak to Dr. Lozano. Not seeing any questions, Marvin.
El fin. So we are at the end. Ya terminamos. Muchas gracias. Me dio mucho gusto estar aquí con ustedes. It was a pleasure to be with you here today.